Welcome to Language Swap, everyone, a fun way to learn English. We are so excited to have you join us today.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sally, and Alex, I have to tell you something that happened this weekend that I think ties perfectly into today's episode.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me everything.
So I ran into a friend I hadn't seen in almost 2 years. We used to be really close, like talked every single day close, and then life just happened and we drifted apart.
Oh, that's such a real thing. Not a big fight, not a dramatic ending, just distance that grows quietly without anyone really deciding it should happen.
Exactly. And when I saw her within like 5 minutes, we were laughing like no time had passed at all. But it also made me realize how much vocabulary I use to describe relationships without even thinking about where those words come from.
That's such a good observation. And honestly, relationship vocabulary in English is enormous. There are so many phrases for the different stages, textures, and complications of friendships and connections with people. And most of us learn some of it naturally in our first language, but rarely get taught it properly in a second language, even though we need it constantly in real conversations.
So today we are talking about relationships and friendship, how to describe closeness, distance, conflict, loyalty, and everything in between. This is one of the richest emotional topics in the English language.
This episode covers friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships a little bit, and just human connection in general. So no matter what kind of relationship you want to talk about, you'll walk away with real, natural vocabulary today that actually gets used in everyday conversation.
Let's start with describing closeness, because there's a whole spectrum of ways to say people are close, and they're not all the same in tone or intensity.
We go way back. This means you've known someone for a very long time, usually since childhood or early adulthood. Me and Jake go way back, like since middle school. It signals deep history, not just current closeness. There's a whole shared story behind those three words.
I love go way back because it implies so much without explaining any of it directly. Just saying it tells the listener there's real history there, even if you never go into the details.
We're thick as thieves. A really fun expression meaning two people are extremely close and do everything together, almost like partners in crime. Since college, we've been thick as thieves, playful and warm with a little bit of mischief built into the phrase itself.
Ride or die, very modern and very strong. It means someone who will support you no matter what, through anything, without hesitation or conditions. She's my ride or die. She's been there for everything. Intense loyalty packed into just 3 words.
We just clicked. This describes an instant connection with someone like things felt easy and natural right from the start, with zero effort involved. We met at a party and we just clicked immediately. No forcing it, no awkwardness, just natural chemistry from the very first conversation.
I remember meeting a friend at a conference once, and by the end of the day, we had already made plans to meet again. That's exactly what we just clicked describes so well.
Kindred spirits. A more poetic way of saying two people understand each other on a deep level, like they share a similar soul or worldview. We're kindred spirits. We think about life the same way. Beautiful phrase. A little more formal but very heartfelt when you use it.
Now let's talk about distance, because relationships don't stay static, and English has great vocabulary for describing when closeness fades over time.
We drifted apart. This is exactly what happened with my friend this weekend before we reconnected. No conflict, just gradual distance over time. We were so close in college, but we drifted apart after graduation. Nobody's fault, just life pulling people in different directions.
Drifted apart is such a gentle phrase. It doesn't blame anyone. It just describes something natural, like 2 boats slowly moving in different directions without anyone steering them apart on purpose.
We fell out of touch. Similar idea, more neutral. We fell out of touch for a while but reconnected last year. It just means contact stopped without any emotional judgment attached to why it happened.
We grew apart, a bit deeper than drifted apart. This suggests people changed as individuals in ways that made the friendship less natural over time. We grew apart once we started wanting different things in life. The people themselves shifted, not just the circumstances around them.
That's such an important distinction. Drifting apart is often about circumstances outside your control. Growing apart is more about actual internal change in who each person is becoming as they get older.
And then there's we had a falling out. This one does imply conflict. usually a disagreement or event that damaged the relationship directly. We had a falling out a few years ago and haven't talked since. There's usually a specific moment you could point to if someone asked what happened.
Very different energy from drifting apart. A falling out is usually more sudden and more painful, with an identifiable cause behind it that you could actually name.
Now, let's talk about the harder side of relationships: conflict, tension, and complicated dynamics, because this vocabulary is incredibly useful and often avoided in language learning, even though it's so common in real life.
We're not on the same page. This means two people disagree or have different understandings about something important. We're just not on the same page about this decision. Common in both personal and professional contexts. It's neutral enough to use almost anywhere.
There's tension between us describes an uncomfortable, unresolved feeling in a relationship, even if nothing has been directly said out loud yet. There's been some tension between us since the argument. Everyone can feel it, even without anyone naming it directly.
Walking on eggshells, such a vivid expression. It means being extremely careful about what you say around someone because they might get upset easily or unpredictably. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around him lately. You're constantly monitoring yourself just to avoid setting something off.
That phrase paints such a clear picture. Eggshells breaking under the slightest pressure. It's exactly what that anxious, careful feeling is like around someone sensitive or volatile.
Holding a grudge when someone continues to feel resentment about something long after it happened, refusing to let it go even with time passing. She's still holding a grudge from something that happened years ago. The original event is long gone, but the feeling stayed.
Give someone the silent treatment. This means intentionally ignoring someone as a way of expressing anger, instead of talking about the problem directly with words. He gave me the silent treatment for 2 days after our argument. Painful, passive, and honestly very common in a lot of relationships.
That's such a painful but very common relationship dynamic, and it's so useful to have language for describing it clearly instead of just feeling confused or hurt by it without words.
Toxic. An extremely common word now for relationships that are consistently harmful, draining, or unhealthy in a repeated pattern. That friendship became really toxic, so I had to step back. You'll hear this constantly in modern conversations about relationships of every kind.
And on the healthier side, setting boundaries with someone, which we touched on before, but it's especially relevant here in a relationship context. I had to set some boundaries with my sister about how she talks to me. Protecting your own peace within a relationship you still want to keep.
Now, let's move to vocabulary around loyalty, support, and being there for someone. Because this is the beautiful side of relationships that deserves just as much attention as the hard parts.
Have someone's back. This means to support and protect someone, to be loyal to them no matter what happens around them. I've got your back no matter what happens. Simple, powerful, universally understood in English no matter the context.
Show up for someone. To be present and supportive during an important or difficult time in their life. She really showed up for me when my dad was sick. Action-based loyalty, not just words. It's about what you actually do, not just what you say you'll do.
Be there for someone. Very similar, maybe the most classic version of this idea. He's always been there for me, through everything. Simple phrase, enormous emotional weight behind it every single time it's said sincerely.
Check in on someone to reach out specifically to see how someone is doing, especially during a hard time in their life. I've been checking in on her since the breakup. Small gesture, but it carries so much meaning behind it.
I do this a lot, actually. Send a quick text just saying, thinking of you, how are you holding up? It's such a small thing, but it means so much to people going through something hard. Sometimes it's not even about a long conversation, just knowing someone remembered you.
That's such a beautiful habit. And go to bat for someone. This means to defend or advocate for someone, especially when they're not present to defend themselves in the room. She went to bat for me when everyone else doubted the plan. Standing up for someone even when it's not easy or convenient.
The image comes from baseball, stepping up to bat on someone else's behalf. It's such a strong visual for standing up for someone when they need it most.
Now, let's talk about a different but very important category, talking about family relationships specifically, since family dynamics have their own unique vocabulary in English.
We're close-knit. Describes a family or group that is very connected and supportive of each other on a regular basis. My family is really close-knit. We talk every day. Warm, tight, involved with each other's lives in an ongoing way, not just during big events or holidays.
Black sheep of the family. A somewhat playful but sometimes painful expression for someone who doesn't fit the family mold, who's different from everyone else in some noticeable way. I've always been the black sheep of the family. Can be said with humor or with real pain, depending on the context and tone.
Family ties, general term for the connections and obligations within a family. Family ties are really important in my culture. Broad phrase, works in lots of different contexts and conversations.
Estranged, a more formal but very important word meaning someone is no longer in contact with a family member, usually due to serious conflict that hasn't been resolved. He's been estranged from his father for over a decade. Heavy word used carefully but essential to know.
That word carries so much weight in just 3 syllables. It doesn't explain the whole story, but it tells you enough to understand the seriousness of the situation immediately.
Now let's touch briefly on romantic relationships since so much relationship vocabulary overlaps here too, even though the context is a little different.
Hit it off. Similar to clicked, but often used specifically for early romantic or dating contexts. We hit it off on our first date, instant, easy connection right from the start.
On the same wavelength means two people think similarly and understand each other easily, whether the relationship is romantic or platonic. We're just on the same wavelength about most things. Effortless understanding, like you're both tuned to the same frequency.
Red flag and green flag, extremely popular right now, especially online and among younger speakers, but used everywhere now. A red flag is a warning sign that something might be wrong with a person or relationship. A green flag is a positive sign that things are healthy and safe.
That was such a red flag, but I ignored it. Or the way he talks to his mom is such a green flag. You'll hear these constantly now, especially in casual conversation and on social media.
These have become so mainstream that even people who don't date much still use red flag and green flag to describe all kinds of situations, not just romantic ones, jobs, friendships, even roommates.
One more I want to add here, situationship, a very modern word for a romantic connection that isn't clearly defined, not quite a relationship, but more than just friends.
I don't really know what we are. It's kind of a situationship right now. This word did not exist a decade ago, and now it's everywhere in casual conversation.
Language really does evolve with how people actually live and connect with each other, and this word is such a perfect example of that.
Now, one last area I think is really valuable. How to talk about ending a relationship of any kind, whether it's a friendship, a romance, or even a professional connection.
We called it quits. A very common and neutral way to say a relationship ended without going into painful detail about why. We called it quits after a few months.
It just ran its course. This means a relationship naturally ended, not through conflict, but simply because it had reached its natural endpoint. The friendship just ran its course, and that's okay.
I really appreciate that phrase because it removes blame entirely. Some relationships are meant for a season, not forever, and this phrase honors that without making it sound like a failure.
We're on good terms. Even after a relationship ends, this means there's no lingering anger or resentment. We broke up, but we're on good terms now. Peaceful ending, mutual respect intact.
And the opposite, we're not on speaking terms. This means the relationship ended badly enough that communication has completely stopped. After everything that happened, we're not on speaking terms anymore.
These phrases give you such a clean, respectful way to talk about endings without oversharing painful details you might not want to get into with someone.
I want to add one more area before we wrap up the main content, vocabulary for reconnecting with someone after time has passed, because that's such a common and beautiful moment too.
Picking up right where we left off. This describes reconnecting with someone and it feeling completely natural, like no time passed at all. We hadn't talked in years, but we picked up right where we left off.
That's exactly what happened with your friend this weekend, right? No awkwardness, no rebuilding from scratch, just straight back into comfort and ease with each other.
Exactly that feeling. Bridge the gap. To actively work on reconnecting or repairing distance in a relationship, I reached out to bridge the gap after years of silence between us.
Extend an olive branch, a beautiful, slightly more poetic phrase for making a gesture of peace after conflict, offering reconciliation. I decided to extend an olive branch and just send a simple message first.
The image comes from ancient history, olive branches as a symbol of peace after war. It's such a meaningful phrase for something as small as sending one text message to someone you haven't spoken to in a while.
Water under the bridge means something from the past is no longer a problem, it's been let go completely. That whole argument is water under the bridge now. We're good. Very healing phrase to use and to hear.
I really love ending on this note because it shows that relationships aren't just about staying close forever without any bumps. They're also about repair, about coming back together, and about choosing each other again after distance or difficulty.
That's such a hopeful way to think about it. Every relationship, even the really good ones, probably needs some repair vocabulary at some point along the way. All right, let's do our word tour for today, covering everything we talked about.
We go way back. Long history with someone, thick as thieves, extremely close, do everything together. Ride or die, someone who supports you no matter what. We just clicked. Instant natural connection. Kindred spirits, deep soul-level understanding between two people.
Drifted apart. Gradual distance. No conflict involved. Fell out of touch. Contact simply stopped over time. Grew apart. People changed in ways that made the friendship less natural. Had a falling out. A conflict damaged the relationship directly.
Not on the same page, disagreement or different understanding, tension between us, unresolved discomfort in a relationship, walking on eggshells, being overly careful around someone, holding a grudge, continued resentment about something past.
Silent treatment. Intentionally ignoring someone to express anger. Toxic. Consistently harmful or draining relationship. Have someone's back. Loyal support no matter what. Show up for someone. Being present during hard times.
Be there for someone. Classic, powerful support phrase, check in on someone, reaching out to see how they're doing. Go to bat for someone, defending someone, especially in their absence.
Close-knit, a very connected, supportive family or group. Black sheep of the family, someone who doesn't fit the family mold. Family ties, connections, and obligations within family. Estranged, no longer in contact, usually due to serious conflict.
Hit it off, instant connection, often romantic, on the same wavelength, thinking similarly, understanding easily. Red flag and green flag. Warning signs versus positive signs in a person or relationship. Situationship. An undefined romantic connection.
Called it quits. A relationship ended, neutrally stated, ran its course. A natural ending, no conflict involved. On good terms, peaceful ending, mutual respect, not on speaking terms. Communication completely stopped after conflict.
Picking up right where we left off, reconnecting naturally after time apart. Bridge the gap, actively working to repair distance.
Extend an olive branch, making a gesture of peace after conflict. Water under the bridge, something from the past that's fully let go.
Your challenge this week. Think of one relationship in your life, whether a friendship, family connection, or something romantic, and describe it out loud using at least 4 expressions from today. Relationships are honestly one of the richest topics for real conversation practice because everyone has stories, and now you have so much more vocabulary to tell them well and with real nuance.
If today's episode resonated with you, sending it to a friend you go way back with would be such a perfect way to use what we just talked about. And following along with the show helps us keep making more episodes exactly like this one for you and for everyone listening.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
See you in the next episode. Go check in on someone you care about today, even if it's just a quick message.